Hello, ODAC fans, and welcome to our next conversation here on ODAConline.com. My name is JJ Nekloff. I'm the Associate Commissioner with the Old Dominion Athletic Conference. And today we've got an interview for you that we're recording a day before we're actually going to show it. And it's going to be in response to Hanna Hull's interview that we're going to do on Friday morning. So we haven't recorded Hanna's interview. We're recording this interview on Thursday. But we have with us Virginia Wesleyan softball head coach Brandon Elliott. And Brandon, how are you doing today?
JJ, doing great, buddy. Good to see you, and I hope everybody's well over there at the ODAC.
You know, we've talked about awards and the prowess of your program many times, both formally and informally. And this is a different kind of award for you here right now. It's really a different one for the ODAC, as I haven't done my full research on it, but I think Hanna Hull is just the second ODAC person all time to get an Academic All-American of the Year award in her sport. The other one was a men's basketball player from Randolph in 2013. His name was Colton Hunt. You might remember that name. But either way, very rare air that she's already been in just through her prowess on the field. And now a combination award here for what she's done in the classroom and also in her civic areas, plus her athletic prowess. So talk a little bit about kind of what this means for you, for your program, and in talking with Hanna, just your interactions about winning this type of award.
You know, I think the thing that makes me most proud about it is it gives people a kind of a glimpse into who Hanna Hull is, right? So we see this left-handed dominant pitcher in the circle, and certainly her accolades as with her team and as an individual are certainly going to be celebrated for a long time at Virginia Wesleyan and probably in the ODAC and nationally. But what this does gives people a glimpse into what type of kid we're dealing with here. And, you know, Hanna's certainly special athletically, but obviously academically as well. And, you know, to be able to get this award, I saw in the interview, you know, you're talking about 8,000 Division III softball players. And you're talking about a kid that academically, including her athletic prowess, as you mentioned, puts her as the top one. And we've had her in that conversation as the best Division III player during the course of the season in 17 and 18 and National Freshman of the Year. And now you're saying that, hey, this kid is also the Academic All-American of the Year. So to get any of those awards, I never had the privilege to be in any of those conversations as an athlete. And so for anybody to get any of those awards is certainly, you know, a blessing for Hanna. But again, I think the big piece that makes us most proud at Virginia Wesleyan, it gives people a glimpse into what's more than just the athlete for Hanna.
When to put yourself in the shoes or in the seat of every Division III coach in any sport here right now, is this the type of thing you look for when you're recruiting your athletes? Because you really want the best on the field, but if you get that good student who really does everything, just what does that mean? Just school pride, program pride, all that stuff to have an all-encompassing student like Hanna has become.
To be honest with you, I mean, anytime, and I talk to all of our colleagues, anytime we can get a student athlete in our program or any of our programs here at any university that we don't have to worry about in the classroom is huge. You know, certainly that's the number one thing. We want to make sure they get their degree and that they're successful in the classroom. We take a kid like Hanna and she's able to do that in the classroom. You don't have to worry about that. So now we can focus on the pitching aspect, or we can focus on Hanna as a human being. And it kind of frees us up as coaches and as one less stressor for us, certainly as a coach, because, you know, a kid can go out there. But the other side too, JJ, is, you know, what does that do for the other women in your program? And what does that do for the recruiting piece of it? Is they're able to look and say, hey, this kid is fantastic on the field, but look what she's doing in the classroom also. And that's just makes us look even better than we already are. And certainly as a coach, I mean, those are the types of kids that you want. They're good people. They're good students. They're great players. It's just kind of a coach's dream.
Before we hear a little bit more from Brandon, let's have a quick word from one of our sponsors.
With over 100 local offices, Virginia Farm Bureau agents are part of your community. If you want insurance from a company that knows you, get to know us.
You know, Brandon, we want to thank Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance for being one of our corporate sponsors here at the ODAC. They help us out with championship coverage, championship resources, and whatnot. But their main focus here is a sponsor of the 24 ODAC Virginia Farm Bureau Insurance Scholar Athlete Awards. Hanna won that for softball. It's the same process that mimics Academic All-America. So the SIDs and athletic communications directors are putting together those nominations. It goes on to the same criteria. So really outstanding for her that we're able to continue something like that through the help of Farm Bureau Insurance. And Farm Bureau likes being a part of those championships as well. And you know an awful lot about that. Let's get onto the field here a little bit. a little humble brag about your program here. You've won 2 national championships there. Talk a little bit about building the program that you have right now. Just reflect back on your 13, 14 years when you first started up the program, or started as the head coach of the program, I should say, and where it is now.
Thanks, JJ, for asking that. Certainly, to think 13 years ago, that seems like a long time, but during this break here, it's definitely given us an opportunity to reflect and look back on some of the women that helped rebuild this program. Some of the men and women, certainly our coaches. I think of a Jim Quinn, who's been with me for 11 of the 13 years, and Coach Zana over at Norfolk State, and several other coaches have been with us several years, but those two, certainly their tenure. But our plan was, as we came in, it was a lofty plan, and I'm sure some of my colleagues and even mentors like Dawn Simmons at Lynchburg will tell you, I probably came in with my feet on fire a little bit and maybe rubbed some people the wrong way. But our vision immediately was to compete at a national level, and we wanted to chase the dog in the conference and build a program. We talk about BHAGs, big, hairy, audacious goals, and that was to win a national championship. And 13 years ago, people thought we were crazy saying that, and now it's an everyday conversation. And there's so many people. I mean, we leave so many people out that have been a huge part of that. Even that class that I took over in 2007, just for 8 games, for those women to come in and trust me. I think of Allison Cockrell and those types of girls that were like, hey, we got a new guy, but let's give him a shot. And certainly the administration here to believe in us. But all that's great. But I don't care how good of a coach or how good of a program you run. If you don't have good players, you're not going to be successful. And we've been super fortunate to have a lot of elite players here at Virginia Wesleyan.
Wait, you mentioned Dawn Simmons there when you're talking about mentors, and I'll extend that to colleagues. Let's talk about the ODAC here right now. As we did a season recap here from the conference off of some of the spring sports because of the seasons, obviously, that were lost across divisions, or really across sports altogether. And when we did that, looked at the coaching profiles of everybody, just about every coach has a 500 or better record in the ODAC, and they have a combined winning percentage of over 630. I mean, it's outstanding. Talk a little bit about the breadth of talent in the league, the coaching that's in the league, just what we've seen with the ODAC grow into a league that saw 4 teams get into the NCAA tournament for 2019.
I mean, you saw 4 teams. You could have seen 6. And I think if we don't beat each other up, which we have to do because we're playing conference play, right. We don't beat each other up, you might see a couple of those other teams in the NCAA tournament. And, the ODAC, when we came into it, or when I came into the ODAC, I should say, was a strong conference for sure. And Dawn was a big reason, and the Roanoke teams that went to the World Series, and I think of Donnie Falk and what he had done at Bridgewater, and the rest of us are trying to keep up and catch up and stay consistent. But since that time, I mean, you really can't put your finger on one program. Year in and year out, we've been fortunate in the tournament to do that, but it's been difficult. Our most difficult battles every day are in conference play. I mean, you go in conference play and you go, all right, if I can get out of this thing, at 10-10, and I might be a 4 seed going in the ODAC tournament just because it's so difficult. And because we've been fortunate enough to play all the way through a national championship, we've seen the best that the country has had to offer in multiple years. And I will tell you without a doubt, and I will say it in front of anybody, many times in those runs, it was more difficult to win the ODAC tournament than it was to win the Division III Final 8 or softball championship. And I say that with all sincerity. What Tommy's done at Emory and Henry, oh my gosh, it's incredible. Dennis Shores built Guilford. Kevin Proffitt, he's built Randolph-Macon, and they're a perennial powerhouse in the World Series last year. And they were a 4 seed in the ODAC tournament. Certainly what Dawn's done for many, many years. And, look at what Mike's done at Roanoke. I mean, I can go on and on and on. You never know what JD's going to do at Eastern Mennonite. And we have a lot of young coaches that are coming in and putting some heat on. I guess I'm an older guy now. But Mama Bear at Lynchburg, I think she wins that title of the eldest. But it's certainly a ridiculously talented conference. But I think what makes it even more incredible are the relationships that the coaches have. Certainly between the lines, we want to beat each other's heads in. But, I go back to, when Dawn and Lynchburg came here and beat us in the regional last year, certainly difficult, a very difficult time for our team to deal with that. But an hour after the game, you're seeing Chitwood and Hanna Hull, the 2 best players in the conference. Hanna coming up Chitwood and saying, hey, man, good luck and best of luck to you. You've had an incredible career. And to see that relationship between players that are arch rivals between the lines. You don't get that. It doesn't happen anywhere else. And, some people might frown upon that. I think it's fantastic because it's big rivalries, tons of talent, but you have coaches that are running their programs the right way, and they're classy, and we love each other. And you just don't see that. And that's what makes the ODAC special. And I'm going to tell you right now, it is the best conference in the country. I'll take our teams in our conference against any other conference in the country every day of the week. Hands down, the best conference in the country.
Well, we like boasting that here out of the ODAC office as much as we can. It comes down to great players, like you said, but great players have to be molded as well with coaches like you and the others that you mentioned in the ODAC. So we appreciate you. We appreciate the other coaches. And Brandon, I appreciate you specifically for joining me here today.
Absolutely. Thanks, JJ. Everybody stay safe.
Well, folks, that was Brandon Elliott from the Virginia Wesleyan University softball. And he's got the academic All-American of the Year in Hanna Hull, his ace left-handed starter. We'll talk to Hanna tomorrow when we post these videos. As this is Thursday and we're recording Brandon's video now. We'll post that after Hannah's video, actually. But until then, stay tuned until our next episode.